The story opens with philosophical musings about the future and an ordeal humanity may have brought upon itself. It reflects on how the existence of a future does not guarantee access to it for everyone, highlighting a lack of understanding about using the key to unlock the future. A conversation unfolds between two characters, with one explaining they can't come to the dorm due to cram school. The scene shifts to a group discussing the absence of some members on the last day before the dorm closes. They reflect on how everyone deals with change differently and the importance of choosing their own paths. The group prepares to return their evokers, special items they no longer need. The characters reminisce about a departed friend, speculating that he used the last of his power to protect them in a final battle. They express gratitude for the memories shared in the dorm. One character, Aegis, reveals she's returning to a lab instead of continuing school, viewing it as a new beginning. The group decides to have a farewell dinner with high-quality sushi. As the evening progresses, the group reflects on their time together and the changes in society. They discuss the decline of apathy syndrome cases, but note ongoing high stress levels among the public. One character expresses concern about people's carefree attitudes, questioning if this is the world they fought to protect. At midnight, a strange occurrence happens with the date seemingly repeating, causing confusion and concern among the group. The group decides to call it a night, with some members preparing to leave. The narrative shifts to a character's internal monologue, recounting the loss of a dear friend and subsequent depression. The character describes recurring dreams and a sudden cessation of the need for sleep. A mysterious butterfly appears, leading to an unexpected and dramatic turn of events. A new entity named Métis appears, claiming to be there to protect Aegis. A confrontation ensues, with Métis viewing the others as threats. Both Aegis and Métis demonstrate the ability to summon personas, leading to a battle. The fight escalates until a sudden, unexplained event occurs. The scene transitions to the Velvet Room, where Igor and Elizabeth introduce themselves to Aegis. They explain the concept of the wild card and its connection to finding the answer to life. Igor suggests that Aegis has gained a power similar to a previous guest, hinting at the potential consequences of finding life's answer. Aegis contemplates the meaning of this new power and its implications for her journey. Aegis awakens to find herself modified with new equipment. The group explains they took action while she was unconscious, following instructions from Métis. Tensions arise as they discuss Métis' presence and intentions. Aegis, believing Métis poses no further threat, suggests releasing her. Métis reveals that she and Aegis are sister units and explains a dire situation. Time is looping, trapping them in a repeating March 31st. Métis elaborates on the time loop and spatial distortion caused by the abyss of time beneath them. She offers to guide the group to this mysterious place, describing it as uncharted territory. The scene concludes with the group preparing to explore this new phenomenon, facing an unknown challenge that could potentially alter their understanding of time and reality. The abyss of time, initially a small self-contained space beneath the lounge, has spread rapidly underground, reaching the dorm. Its unnatural origin suggests a dangerous power akin to Tartarus. The abnormal flow of time within causes time loops and prevents leaving the dorm. Eradicating the abyss of time appears to be the only solution, but the method remains unclear. The character's unique ability to perceive the time loop indicates a strong connection between them and the phenomenon. A proposed solution involves entering the abyss of time to discover its cause and eliminate it at the source. This dangerous mission necessitates combat preparation. The characters face a dire situation, trapped in the dorm with a looping time frame and dwindling resources. Despite the risks, this perilous venture into the abyss seems to be their sole chance for survival. The gravity of their circumstances leaves little room for alternatives, forcing them to confront the unknown. Trust issues arise as the characters question the motives and background of their informant. Inconsistencies in the story, such as Aegis being the last of her series and the informant's knowledge of the supposedly uncharted abyss of time, raise suspicions. The group's reluctance to blindly follow advice from someone who initially attacked them is evident. The informant's claim of wanting to protect Aegis is met with skepticism. further complicating the already tense situation. The group considers proceeding without the informant due to their hostile attitude. This prompts a sudden change in the informant's behavior, who apologizes and pleads to accompany them. Despite the apology, trust remains an issue. The group decides to allow the informant to join them, emphasizing the need to protect everyone, not just Aigis. They prepare for exploration and battle, with Aigis taking command due to her power to change personas. The team prepares for potential combat, retrieving equipment and discussing Aigis' newfound power. They notice a significant weakening in their strength, possibly due to their hiatus from fighting. This weakness, combined with unstable persona output, adds another layer of challenge to their impending mission. Despite these setbacks, they resolve to work with what they have, understanding the urgency of their situation. The team formulates a plan. Some members split off for specific tasks, investigating materials found underground, securing supply rooms, and exploring the abyss of time. They follow Aegis' command, focusing on exploring and determining if the abyss connects to places beyond the dorm. As they begin their exploration, they encounter a mysterious presence that leads them deeper into the abyss, where they face shadows in combat. The team reaches their first goal, realizing the abyss is larger than anticipated. They speculate that the source of their troubles lies at the deepest level, drawing parallels to their experiences in Tartarus. The presence of shadows, despite the absence of the lost, puzzles them. As they continue their journey, they unexpectedly find themselves in what appears to be Paulownia Mall from the previous year. The team's arrival in a past version of Paulownia Mall confuses and alarms them. Encounters with familiar faces and observations of dates displayed around them confirm they've somehow traveled to July 2009. This revelation introduces a new dimension to their understanding of the abyss of time, suggesting that the doors within connect to various points in the past. The implications of this discovery add further complexity to their already challenging mission. The group discovers they can travel to places from their memories in the past, but not anywhere else. They decide to use this opportunity to gather supplies, believing that whatever they collect should remain usable until the abyss of time disappears. Someone suggests that the door may have led them there based on their inner thoughts. While the situation is mind-boggling, they are relieved they won't starve. The abyss of time is aptly named, allowing them to revisit bygone days. They sense a potential for salvation in this strange occurrence. The group unexpectedly emerges in a familiar location instead of the desert of doors. They speculate that this place is now fully connected to the abyss of time, possibly influenced by their collective thoughts about making frequent supply trips. This new development will make it easier for them to travel back and forth. As they arrive, there's some commotion and urgency to keep moving through the passage. A flashback occurs, showing a conversation between a police officer and a young boy named Ken Amada. Ken tries to explain that his mother was murdered by a teenager who summoned a monster, but the officer dismisses his account as a trauma-induced delusion. The officer insists it was a drunk driving accident, frustrating Ken, who feels betrayed by adults. This memory reveals Ken's motivation for seeking justice and his introduction to supernatural events. The group reflects on the memory they just witnessed. Ken acknowledges that his family must have fabricated the accident as a cover-up. There's a discussion about why they're seeing these painful memories. Someone suggests that the doors reflect the minds of those who pass through them, and that there might be a reason they're seeing these events. The group is encouraged to think about the significance of these visions rather than accusing each other. The conversation shifts to the group's shared experiences fighting together in the past. They discuss how that feeling can't be replicated in everyday life, and how some members, like Sonata, have taken up activities like boxing to hold on to that sensation. There's a debate about whether dwelling on the past is productive, with some arguing they should focus on moving forward to avoid wasting their efforts. The group encounters a treasure chest and senses a strange presence, possibly a shadow. They prepare for battle, maintaining their guard as they proceed. The mysterious figure they've been seeing is suspected of summoning the shadows they face. Another memory unfolds, showing a young Sonata after a boxing match. he's approached by a recruiter from another school but firmly declines the offer. Akihiko Sonata then appears, introducing himself and proposing to help Sonata face supernatural enemies. This memory reveals how some group members were initially recruited to fight shadows. The group discusses the nature of the school they saw in the memory. They realize that Métis, despite her appearance, is quite naive and childlike in many ways. This leads to a shift in how they perceive her, seeing her more as a young, inexperienced individual rather than a potential threat. As they continue through the abyss of time, the group acknowledges that confronting the past is unavoidable in this place. They resolve to treat these memories as clues and move forward. They speculate about Métis' behavior, comparing her to a baby chick imprinting on the first thing it sees. The group remains vigilant, watching out for shadows as they progress. The group encounters more shadows and the mysterious figure again. They prepare for battle, focusing on defeating the immediate threats while wondering about the nature of the figure that doesn't seem to want to attack them directly. Two friends are discussing plans for the evening. One suggests getting alcohol through an acquaintance, but the other declines, saying he's not in the mood. The first friend comments that he'll be nursing his broken heart alone. The second expresses disappointment about his day and wonders if he'll ever be truly happy. He wishes he could change the world or have some special skill or power. They discuss hopes of making real friends who understand them someday. The conversation shifts to a past event that seems like destiny. One friend recalls the day Sonata-san found him in a convenience store during the dark hour. He was vulnerable and terrified, nearly bursting into tears. The experience was described as the scariest moment of his life. The friend reflects on how his life has changed since then, from a somewhat mundane existence to the exciting and unreal experience of staying at the dorm and fighting shadows. The conversation turns to the reasons behind awakening to their powers. Unlike others who usually have a specific reason, one individual possessed the power first and then discovered their true feelings later. The group discusses the significance of the doors they've been encountering, which show memories of great importance and disappear once they've served their purpose. They speculate that continuing to explore will help them understand the purpose of the remaining doors. The narrative focuses on a character's internal thoughts about emotion and curiosity. They observe another character who is full of emotion despite never having contact with other people. This prompts them to wonder about their own experiences and reasons for reactivating, planting a seed of curiosity about personal memories and discoveries. The group continues to explore, keeping in mind that the doors disappear once they've served their purpose. They encounter shadows and a mysterious figure that seems to be summoning them. Despite the figure's similarity to someone they know, they focus on defeating the shadows. The group discusses how many floors they've explored and prepares themselves for more revelations about the past. The scene shifts to a memory inside Tartarus. A group, including Mitsuru and her father, explores the area. Normal weapons are useless against shadows, and only those with developed potential can fight. Mitsuru awakens to her persona power, impressing her father. However, another character laments that Mitsuru will now be bound to a life of atonement for their family's legacy. The group reflects on the memory they've just witnessed, particularly Mitsuru's past. They discuss the common themes in the memories they've seen so far, suggesting they all relate to the moments when they awakened to their persona abilities. They also mention equipment and documents found by Kujo-senpai, which contain information about an accident from 10 years ago and references to the abyss of time. The group continues to explore, encountering enemies and finding treasure. They discuss the need for more time to decipher some detailed but disorganized notes. One member expresses feeling overwhelmed by their thoughts. They sense a presence that doesn't seem entirely human and speculate about its connection to their current situation. The group prepares to face more shadows and uncover the truth behind their circumstances. The narrative jumps to a memory of school life. Students discuss the impending end of their first year and the frustration of being confined to a dormitory during what should be the best years of their lives. One character, Yukari, receives a letter from the past, causing her to reflect on her father and the loneliness of combating deceptions. The group continues to piece together the significance of the memories they're witnessing. The group discusses the common thread in the memories they've seen, the moments that gave them reasons for awakening to their personas. They speculate on why these specific memories are being shown and what lesson they might need to learn. Métis, feeling left out due to her lack of shared past, expresses her frustration. The others reassure her, suggesting that she too must have important memories, even if they're different from the rest of the group. The conversation with Métis leads to a realization that their pasts contain both painful and pleasant memories. This prompts the group to consider that the reason time stopped may have something to do with them. They continue to explore, encountering more challenges and uncovering further clues about their situation and the nature of the abyss of time. The group is pursuing a mysterious figure through an area filled with enemies called shadows. There are hints that this figure may be manipulating time in some way, reminiscent of a grandfather's goals. The group feels compelled to continue following it, sensing they will encounter it regardless. They press on, remaining vigilant of the shadows around them. The group believes they have reached the deepest part of an area called the Abyss of Time. This location is thought to be the source of a time loop they are experiencing. One member recalls finding notes indicating the abyss was created as a reaction to another place called Tartarus. The abyss was expected to disappear when Tartarus did, but for some reason it persisted. The presence of shadows in the abyss is also unexpected based on these notes. The group speculates that some powerful force is keeping the abyss from vanishing and causing the current situation. They approach a door, believing whatever is beyond it may be the cause of their predicament. They prepare themselves for a potential battle, aware that destroying the cause could be challenging. As they near their goal, there's a sense that they are about to confront something significant. A memory or vision is experienced, seemingly belonging to a character named Aigis. It depicts a deeply emotional scene where Aegis is distraught over losing someone important, questioning her purpose and existence. This memory appears to be connected to Aegis's awakening to her persona abilities, though the exact nature of this connection is unclear to the group. Aegis explains that the memory was from a recurring dream she had after losing someone important. The dreams eventually stopped, coinciding with a lessening of her emotional pain. The group begins to realize that their collective desire to see a specific person again may be related to their current situation. A mysterious figure suggests that eliminating the group might have been the quickest solution to their problem. A monstrous entity appears, described as the physical manifestation of the group's regrets. This being is identified as the cause of the Abyss of Time's persistence and the presence of shadows within it. The group engages in battle with this entity, which seems to take the form of someone they all miss. After defeating the monster, the group learns that personas and shadows are essentially the same thing, suppressed thoughts given physical form. Persona users are those who can control their shadows. This revelation helps explain how their subconscious desires, manifested through their personas, could have caused their current situation. The group realizes they have inadvertently trapped themselves in this time loop due to their inability to move on from their loss. Upon defeating the manifestation of their regrets, the group obtains 8 keys. These keys represent their collective power to leave the abyss of time. They are presented with 2 choices: use the keys to return to the present, or use them to travel to the past. This decision forces them to confront whether they want to move forward past their regrets or revisit the source of them. The group returns to their dorm to discuss their options as the abyss becomes increasingly unstable. They begin to debate whether to stay in the present or attempt to change the past. Some argue for respecting the sacrifice of the person they lost, while others want to try and prevent his death. This leads to rising tensions and disagreements within the group. As the debate intensifies, it becomes clear that the group cannot reach a unanimous decision. They realize that they may have to fight each other to determine how to use the keys. The possibility of taking the keys by force is raised, as time is running out and discussion has reached an impasse. The group begins to divide into factions based on their beliefs about what should be done. The group prepares for internal conflict to resolve their disagreement. They are directed to an arena where they will engage in battle to determine the outcome. The gravity of the situation is apparent as they face the prospect of fighting their friends and allies. There is a sense of reluctance and tension as they come to terms with this development, understanding that there will be consequences for the losing side. The situation escalates as the characters face a difficult decision about fighting each other for a key. There are concerns that losing one's key could be life-threatening. The protagonist realizes this place holds significance, feeling it was their intended destination all along. The scene is set for a confrontation, with some reluctant to fight their friends, while others are determined to do whatever it takes to protect what's important to them. As the conflict unfolds, it becomes clear that losing the battle has severe consequences, with the defeated unable to return to normal until a true key is forged. This revelation adds urgency to the situation, forcing the characters to confront their motivations and resolve. Some struggle with the idea of fighting friends, while others are firmly committed to their goals, whether it's protecting loved ones or seeking answers about the past and future. The stakes of the conflict become more apparent as the losers pay a heavy price. The protagonist grapples with the weight of their decisions, realizing they may have no choice but to fight to survive. Relationships are strained as characters confront each other, with some rejecting familial ties in favor of what they believe is right. The emotional tension builds as characters struggle between their personal feelings and what they feel they must do. As the battle progresses, characters reflect on their motivations and the potential consequences of their actions. There's a growing realization that their current approach of fighting each other may not lead to the best outcome. Some begin to question whether changing the past or moving forward is truly the right way to frame their choices. This leads to a shift in perspective, with some characters deciding to take a stand against the fighting itself. The conflict reaches a critical point as characters face the final battle. There's a growing sense of despair as they confront the reality that they may have to hurt those they care about most. Some consider giving up their key to end the fighting, even at the risk of their own life. Revelations about the nature of their powers and the potential consequences of using them add to the tension and emotional turmoil. Amidst the chaos, characters begin to understand the importance of recognizing and accepting their feelings. They realize that avoiding pain by not making choices only passes that burden to others. This leads to a deeper understanding of their situation and what truly matters to them. Some characters start to reconsider their initial goals and motivations, leading to new alliances and strategies for the final confrontation. The final battle commences with renewed resolve from all sides. Characters have come to terms with their feelings and are prepared to fight for what they believe in. The true key is at stake, and the outcome will determine the fate of all involved. Despite the high stakes, there's a sense of mutual respect and understanding among the combatants, as they recognize the strength of each other's convictions. With the true key obtained, the immediate conflict ends. However, the emotional turmoil continues as characters grapple with their desires to change the past and the reality of loss. Some struggle to accept the finality of death, while others try to find meaning in the promises they've made to lost loved ones. The group begins to consider using the key to uncover the truth about past events before making any irreversible decisions. The group decides to investigate the full truth of past events before using the key. They realize there's still a door available that might allow them to look into the past. This decision brings the group together, including those who felt they didn't belong. There's a growing suspicion that this remaining door might have a greater purpose beyond what they initially thought, possibly preparing them for a final challenge against their own unresolved feelings and the pain of their shared past. The group discusses their next steps, deciding to proceed with what may be their final battle. They express determination to face whatever awaits them, emphasizing the strength they find in working together. The scene evokes memories of a previous encounter in January, but the team remains resolute in their commitment to overcome any challenges ahead. Upon arrival at their destination, the team encounters an unexpected sight. They recognize this as the location for their final battle and agree to thoroughly prepare before moving forward. Despite the unknown nature of what lies ahead, they express confidence in their ability to uncover the truth and overcome any obstacles. The group finds themselves in a mysterious place that appears to be the site of the final battle. They discover they can interact with this environment, similar to a previous experience in a shopping mall. It's revealed that this place is connected to a figure who performed a miracle, using their life essence to create a seal. This act, while fatal, was done without regret and fulfilled a promise made to the group. The nature of the seal and its creator is further explored. The seal was formed using the creator's life essence, an act that resulted in their death, but was done with a clear purpose. Questions arise about the entity known as Nyx and its role in bringing death. The group ponders the necessity of the seal and its true purpose, suggesting that Nyx might not be inherently malicious. A startling revelation occurs as the group realizes they are facing not a shadow, but a manifestation of humanity's worst traits and feelings. This monster embodies the subconscious desire for death that exists within all people. The group grapples with the understanding that this entity is born from the same feelings they themselves have experienced, including the wish for an end to suffering. The group resolves to face this manifestation of humanity's darkest desires. They recognize that this battle is not just against an external foe, but also against their own inner weaknesses. With determination, they commit to fighting not only for themselves, but also to honor the sacrifice made by their friend who created the seal. They express confidence in their ability to overcome this challenge together. After their victory, the group discusses the implications of their battle. They realize that the monster they fought may reappear as long as people continue to harbor feelings of despair and wishes for destruction. This leads to a deeper understanding of why the seal is necessary and the ongoing struggle between life and death that all humans face. The conversation turns to the possibility of changing the world and eliminating the need for the seal. While acknowledging the difficulty of altering the feelings of all of humanity, the group expresses hope and determination. They believe in their ability to effect change as long as they are alive, drawing from their own experiences of personal growth and transformation. As the group prepares to return to their own time, they reflect on their journey and the bonds they've formed. They express gratitude for their friendships and the realizations they've come to about life and death. The conversation touches on the power of friendship as a life-affirming force, potentially providing an answer to the question of life's meaning. The scene abruptly shifts to a mysterious place where the group encounters figures who provide guidance to those awakening to their power. This location is revealed to be connected to the wildcard ability and the friend who sealed Nyx. The group learns more about the nature of their journey and the connections between different realms of existence. A profound revelation occurs as one character recognizes another as part of herself that she had wished away. This leads to a discussion about confronting pain, acknowledging difficult emotions, and the interconnectedness of all living things. The group gains a deeper understanding of their own nature and the importance of embracing all aspects of themselves. The narrative takes a dramatic turn as one character appears to be reaching the end of their journey. This leads to emotional reactions from the group, including tears and expressions of regret. The scene is tinged with a sense of finality and the bittersweet nature of goodbyes, yet also carries undertones of hope and the possibility of continued connection. The group suddenly finds themselves back in their dormitory, realizing that time has returned to normal and it is now April 1st. They grapple with the abrupt transition and try to piece together what happened after they used a key to open the front door. There's a sense of relief that their ordeal is over, but also confusion about the details of their experience. Concern grows for one of their members who is unresponsive. The group uses medical equipment to check her condition, discovering that her synaptic circuits have been completely burned out. This leads to a moment of despair as they fear for her life. However, in a surprising turn of events, she awakens, defying their expectations and medical readings. The awakened member shares her experience of having a dream filled with memories of her time with the group. She reflects on the nature of goodbyes and the joy of spending time with loved ones. The group realizes they had been suffering over the same things, regretting their previous misunderstandings. The nightmare of repeatedly reliving April 1st has finally come to an end. The group reflects on their similarities and expresses relief that the ordeal is over. Exhaustion sets in as the danger subsides, and they decide to return to their rooms for much-needed rest. Before turning in, there's one last matter to address regarding the collection of evokers. A decision is made to reverse the collection of evokers. The incident has prompted deep reflection on the symbolism of these objects and their connection to personal growth. It's acknowledged that even without shadows to fight, there's an ongoing battle against oneself. The group is encouraged to keep their evokers as a reminder of their potential for change. Preparations for departure are underway, with large items already shipped and transportation arranged. The group prepares to leave together, planning to drop off members at their new dorms on the way to the lab. There's concern about Junpei's whereabouts, with speculation that he's struggling with his luggage as he did the previous year. Commotion ensues as someone stumbles, likely Junpei, causing concern among the others. The transportation arrives, signaling it's time to depart. An unexpected request is made by one of the group members. They express a desire to continue attending school with Yukari and the others instead of returning to the lab. This individual has experienced a profound realization about their purpose in life and wishes to keep exploring new experiences with their friends. The request comes at the last minute, causing some uncertainty about its feasibility. A sudden change of plans is announced. Instead of going to the lab, the group will now be heading to the school's Tatsumi Hall. This decision is met with excitement and gratitude, particularly from the individual who requested to stay. There's a mixture of emotions as they prepare to leave their current location, with some feeling a twinge of sadness at the prospect of change. As the reality of the new living arrangements sets in, one member proposes becoming roommates with another. This suggestion is based on their friendship and the practical need for housing. The offer is warmly received, and they agree to share a room in the coming year. This moment highlights the strengthening bonds between the group members and their commitment to supporting each other through this new chapter in their lives.